solutions to money, relationships, wellness, and more. Shine a light onto your day and into your life. Power Your Life with Dr. Joanne White.
Good evening. Welcome to Power Your Life. I'm Joanne White, your host. Known as the Geeter with the heater and the boss with the hot sauce, Jerry Blavat is a throwback to when DJs picked their own playlists and broke records and artists in a way that's unheard of today. Although radio has changed, Blavat hasn't. He still works 7 days a week on radio, television, and at local charity events and clubs. And Jerry has many stories to tell. Jerry, it's an honor to have you here today.
Well, pretty lady, it's an honor to be with you. I love Power Your Life.
Thank you.
Because that's what life's about, man.
Life is really about getting powered up and about whatever we do,
Absolutely.
Right? And you started getting powered up when you were 13 years old on the original American Bandstand.
Bob Horn's Bandstand. You know, it's funny because your audience out there remembers Bob Horn. Most other people don't remember that Bob Horn was the originator who started Bandstand. It was a copy of a radio show called the 950 Club.
Right, and then Dick Clark took over.
Dick took over in 56,
right,
yes.
And you were on the show with Dick Clark. And also, you started after that. I mean, you were a dancer on the show, but then you went and you had your own radio show at age something like 21 years of age, right?
Well, you know, it's interesting because I started as a dancer. And when Dick took over the show, I left the show, even though they offered me more money because I was the head of the dance committee. We didn't know Dick Clark. So I then went and became a record promoter. And I wind up meeting a young comedian by the name of Don Rickles, and I became his valet.
Right.
And then I had a group called Danny and the Juniors where I became the road manager.
But even more than that, that was the beginning of your career. But then you went on to meet, and you had so many people that were your friends and stars and associates, from Ray Charles to
Little Richard,
Little
Fats
Rich,
Domino.
right? All of these people. What was one of your most memorable experiences with Ray Charles? He was a friend of yours. You were the best man at his wedding, and you were there when he died.
That was Sammy Davis.
I mean, Sammy Davis Jr. Excuse me.
You know, it's interesting because when I met Sammy, I was dancing. And he was one of the guests on Bandstand. And one of my duties on Bandstand was to make sure that the guest, as you know on TV, if the host says, this is where you got to be, your mark. So I'm jitterbugging, and this next little guy, I got to say to him, you have to be over there. I get off the dance floor, and he says to me, hey man, where did you learn how to jitterbug like that? I said, well, everybody in South Philadelphia jitterbugs like that. He said to me in 1954, man, you're like a little white me.
So this is Sammy Davis Jr.
This was Sammy Davis Jr.
Okay.
And we became dear friends up until the end. When he married Altavis, he proposed to her in my home. Through Sammy and Rickles, I met Sinatra, and I hung out with all these guys.
What were his last words for you when he was dying?
Sammy said to me something through all of the years that we knew each other, and I was always there. He said, you know, you may not realize why I loved you like I loved you as a friend. I said, I don't know why, Sam. He said, when I saw you as a kid, I saw something in you that was me when I was a kid. Because Sammy started in show business when he was 6 years old.
Wow.
With Will Masterson and with his dad, you know. And I've been blessed. You see, the power of your life, as your show is called, is the ability to go with the dream and the passion.
Which is why you've created this book. You Only Rock Once, okay? And it's incredible.
Thank you.
And you have so much energy, boundless energy. You're working 7 days a week. You have a nightclub in Margate.
Right.
You've had radio shows, a television show,
Right.
the discophonic scene. And how do you keep up this energy?
Well, I love what I do. And the secret of life is if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. The audience out there, to see them smile, to see them happy, to see them dance with me when I do the casinos, Valley Forge or the Golden Nugget or any place like that, that's the energy. I feed my energy off the people.
So they you energize them, but they also energize you.
Comes back.
Right, it's such an exchange of joy and energy,
Absolutely.
and they're loving it. It's interesting because I'm not from this area, Jerry, and the minute I mentioned that you were going to be on the show, people just immediately went right back to the gate, I mean, all to exactly how we introduced you.
Well, you see, and I wrote the book, Joanne, because it's when America was young and you could follow your dream, and I did it unrestricted. I mean, I came from a broken family. I was raised by nuns, but radio and entertainment was always a part of my life.
Now, you were also very close, almost like family, to the boss.
You mean Angelo
Bruno, right?
Absolutely.
To the
I mean,
mobster.
my mother was from Italy, Abruzzese. Angie's wife was also Abruzzese. So they were paisans. And I grew up in the same neighborhood. And when you grew up in South Philly or in a neighborhood, you knew everybody. You never asked what their business was. If they were good neighbors, they were good neighbors. And he was a part of my life, all of my life, you see.
Most of your life.
Yes.
Did that get you into trouble?
Well, what happened when Angelo was killed,
Right.
And when I had split with my wife, I would be a part of that family with dinners and things. When he passed, Mrs. Bruno said to me, listen, you're a part of this family. Don't let this funeral be a mockery. Please keep the press out. Please keep all of that, which I did. And because of that, people wondered, why is he so close to that family? They were neighbors. We shared food together. That was what life was about back in the day.
Right. You know, aside from all the energy and all the incredible people that you met, and you are an icon in Philadelphia and in the Delaware Valley, what one memory stays with you about all your experiences that you want to share with our audience?
Well, the memory of the fact that when I was doing radio and TV and there was a lull spot in my life, I never lost the compassion. And I knew, even though music was changing, that I was still going to do what I was going to do and make people happy. And I never forgot that.
And you know, you still convey that to everybody. Jerry, thanks so much. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you, pretty lady.
Thanks. As we head to break, check out a clip with Jerry Blavat and Dick Clark from American Bandstand.
Jerry, are you in this hassle with the crazy one here? All right.
Jerry Blavat.
And what do you do, sir?
Geeter with the heater.
This man is probably the most prominent young people's disc jockey in the city of Philadelphia and Camden, New Jersey.